Hi guys, Brad Dexter. I'm a physical therapist at QLI. This is Seth. We're going to run through some curb mobility today for a manual wheelchair user. There are a few things that I wanted to go over before we actually show the curb mobility. And those are things that we should be thinking about from just a progression from a therapeutic standpoint too. So I'm going to be looking at someone that is ready for advanced wheelchair mobility. In other words, they're ready to start doing wheelies. They're feeling relatively comfortable and safe pushing their chair around. They have good mechanics while they're doing that. And at that point, we would look at, can this person do a wheelie? Can they hold it? How long can they hold it? How comfortable, independent, safe are they? From there, we're going to build in, can you ride a wheelie? So can you get into that wheelie and how far can you actually ride it? After that, we're going to start looking at different sizes or different heights of curbs. So we might start out with a 4-inch curb, build up to a 5-6 inch. Here we have about an 8 to 10 inch curb that we're going to go up. And when we actually start to get outside and we do some of the curb mobility, I'm looking at the design of the curb. So this particular one has a little bit of a smooth ramp that comes up to it. You may see some shorter curbs that maybe they're 4 or 5 inches, but they're squared off. Or you may see some taller curbs like this that are relatively flat, and it could make it a little bit more difficult. You never know what you're going to get out in the community. We want to prepare people as best as we possibly can, but we also have a nice one to practice on here, so it's great. So Seth and I are going to run through a couple of our progressions for the curb mobility. The first of those is going to be just some wheel taps. So Seth, do you want to come over here and let's show them how we do wheel taps up on the top of the curb. So this is building in a wheelie with advancing the chair forward. He's tapping his front casters on the top of the curb, just getting a feel for the height and how much he has to get into a wheelie to achieve that. All right, the next step, again, I'm back here spotting. So the next step of this progression would be do that wheel tap, and then I'm gonna assist a little bit, but I'm gonna ask Seth to push up that curb. It should not be that hard when we ride a wheelie into the curb, but I do want the individual that's doing it to get a feel for how much of a burst they have to push the chair to actually get up the curb. The next step is getting back down. So coming down a curb, we've got to get into that wheelie again. We've got to ride it forward. I'm spotting behind. I like to use the handles. If there are handles on the wheelchair, I do know people will use a gate belt. They'll tie it to a part of the wheelchair to kind of hold and assist, or even kind of come behind the wheelchair user's shoulders as a place to kind of help manage, control, or spot the person that's learning how to do this. All right, so then the first time that we actually do this whole thing, we're ready to go up the curb. I like to be spotting from behind, but I also like to have someone that's up in the receiving area as well. And the reason for that is one of the largest danger spots is not getting those front casters up the curb the first time, and the individual could come forward out of their chair. So I do want to have 2 people spotting as we're just learning this process. Seth has a little adaptation for him too, because he has some spasms in his legs. When he comes back down, he has a tendency to either start bouncing or a leg will come off, and he's just trying to protect himself so that a foot doesn't get caught underneath his chair or kick out in front of him and throw him off balance. So let's go ahead and we'll show the whole thing here, Seth. Nice job. And back down. Good. From there, I'm just looking to see how consistent can they be. So how many reps in a row can you do this without any errors? And then at that point, we try to go find some places out in the community that we could try this again. So again, if you guys have any questions, comments, leave them below. We'd be happy to get back to you. Otherwise, thanks for watching.